Took yesterday off. Try to reorganize. I think I've been out of kilter, putting out poor quality. Although it has to be done. Has to be done, regardless. I'm not going to put them in my library and save them just for me. Why would that suit me? I can judge myself all the time, and I'll never have. Usually I'm the judge. You know how I judge? I'm always freaking near 50%. All the time. I'm either 100% or I'm 50%. Either I'm 100% with what I like, or I'm 50% with what I like. %50 of 50 is 25, 25, 50, and 100. What I'm thinking about now is colors and numbers. What is the associated color, regardless of what has been done in the tarot cards, regardless of the colors that you see when you play cards, regardless that the heart is noted as red, regarded that the spade or the club is noted as black? The reality is, someone hits you in the eye, it's black and blue. It goes from one to the other. So are they choosing the first result or the middle result? Because when you see 1, 3, and 5, that number is in the middle of the area space it takes up. I mix a little bit of red and I mix a little bit of yellow together. I get one of these. Rabbits, split ends, split hairs. What's in the carrot? Bugs Bunny has to meet the Martian. Communication, rabbit ears. When I mention hair and split hairs, it's because H and R are the two family members that go with each other. How can you say H and R together? Can you say HR? Can you say CH together? As Christ? Accrar? Accrar? Accroire in French would mean to believe. But if you said it in Hebrew, it would be more betochenu, betochenu, betochenu. Bito, beta of, Beethoven, beta of time heaven. Ashar betochenu. Asher betochenu. It's a Jewish, I think I'm pretty close to it. At least I know 100% in here that I'm right. I just don't know if the sound is right. And I'll just say, yeah, that's it. So even if I was 75% right, by me hearing you give me the perfection, I can say, yeah, that's it. I'm working on the size of football fields right now. NFL and CFL. It's pretty easy. In Canada, it's like, boing, I walked, oh my God. Somehow, number 3 for creation, the center cut number 3, and the 3-point for the field goal, the uprights. One post to hold 2 uprights. How's that possible? How come one post holds 2 uprights? But it doesn't. One post holds 1 upright that goes from east to west. Those are your east to west numbers. I'm in the middle upright. I'm in number 8. And I stretch out. No, and I go up to the bottom of 5 because you don't want to go from the middle. You want to go from the bottom before you draw your line. When you draw your line for the box of 5, it's not in the middle. It's at the minimum of space. What your space area is. So you put up that post and a little bit curved for the angel Raphael, the Reich 200, right? And that bar goes east-west. And then you put 2 bars up. So you put a bar from the center to the east and the west. After you've raised it over and turned it, and you put it in the middle of the field for a Canadian to run into it. Oh, but they put padding on it. We have to run 55 yards. No. It's 110 yards to the middle of the field. But it's okay. When you're running into the end zone, you can keep on running because it's so damn big. And they cut the corners off. They cut the corners off in some of the fields. You know, with me, everything relates. Everybody wants to have a relationship, don't they? So let's make them relate. You had a son, child, or daughter, your sister did, or your brother did. Your mother was an aunt or a cousin to somebody. Who are you? You're like a little lower down. You weren't anything until you were born, and then they put you lower down because the seating is at the top. So you can kick a three-point play in both leagues. You can punt the ball. So we take it that we have the red zone. Of course, the red zone. But every time they're marking down the field and showing you the 10-yard line, they're showing you the yellow zone, how the yellow breaks up all the parts of the 110 yards, or the white line that goes across. Remember, white, yellow. White turns a little bit of yellow, right? Black, blue. Well, that's okay. In pool, they go 7 and 15. That's 7 and 6, 7 and 15. How else can we get it? 70. 70 is 6 and 7. 17 is something different. In order to get to the 7 world with 17, you need 1 and 6 and 7 and 0. So you get 6 and 0. That wasn't the one. It has to do with 79. It has to do with 78 and 16. 78. The 7th letter is the gateway. I wish I could design this right now. 7 and 8 is 15. So it makes 6. 16 makes 7. So 16 and 78, or 1678, whichever way you want to look at it, or 17, 8, or 18, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm starting to not like this video because I'm going all over the place. He's talking about football fields. But just to say it that if there's 3 numbers, I got to put it down to 2 numbers. I don't want to use 3 numbers. So if it can brought down, I don't want to use 1 number because 1 number will be 2 numbers automatically because 1 number is something between 2 numbers. And 2 numbers is on the outside of 1 number. So I want to do 2 numbers because if I did 4 numbers, I'd have the upright bringing to the suit tide going up. I got 4 numbers. Plus, the uprights aren't going halfway up. They're going all the way up. And they're not going up only in their own square because when they cross over to look at the design, you'll have a rectangular. So you need to pass them through 2 squares because you're 2 squares wide. So now that you went up from the bottom to the floor, you didn't go to the middle. So you actually, it's like if you had a numbers, you start the upright at 0, the operator on the telephone. You shove that up all the way into number 8. From number 8, you stretch out to 7 and 9, and you go all the way up to 1 and 3 or 3 and 1. From behind you, it's 3 and 1, but in front of you, it's 1 and 3. It's the left and the right. Left is 12, 3 times 4, DC if you want to call it that way. Right is 18, 27. Why? Because we can recreate another number from 27, and we can't recreate it from 17. 27 we can recreate, but we recreate it on each side. So they go to 48, so each one can be recreated within itself. How do you get 48? 31 is the first 4. How do you get 8? 62 or 53. You can't have them the same because then you're saying this one is equal to this one. Look, Dad, there's the uprights. But until you put the players on the field, when you kick that spirit through it, it ain't got no life. So it's 0. Becomes 6 of where it's at, but it's got no life until the football comes on the field and it counts for something. But if the ball goes through and there's no points, it still counts for something anyways because that's where it is and that's what it's for. 105 yards, guy runs 110, but he has to take a foot and put it into the other end zone. You know what's crazy about that? You run up to the end zone, you fall down. The tip of the ball, just the tip of the ball goes over, it's a touchdown. But when the tip of a hockey puck just goes over the line, it's no goal. So on ice, you need the puck to go right over the line, but on the green grass, if that's what you want to call it for now, but it could turn blue, So on the green grass, you take the football and get a point over the line. But the guy's carrying the ball, and he runs towards the end zone. Okay, he runs towards the end zone. He's tackled down with his foot over the line. Did he score a touchdown? Because if he ran into the end zone, and while he was running in, his body was leaned towards the outside, and we're on the outside of the post, is he actually dragging the spirit of the ball through his body into the end zone? So you get the red zone for the first 20 yards if the Canadian didn't bump into the pole in the middle of the field. Pole in the middle of the field, North Pole, Canada, North Pole. Like if there's any relationship to a pole in the middle of the field, they'd put it in Canada for the North Pole. So now I'm assuming when the football field comes out, you're playing the football field between north and south. North to south, and on the east and the west are the sidelines. The east and the west, the left and the right are the sidelines, because you got the pole in the middle of the field. But in American football, in NFL, they got it in the back of the end zone. And there's only 10 yards, and you lose the 10 yards at the beginning because we put something in the middle of the field that you can't see. You're in the middle of the field. We moved you in. Gave you the same sidelines because we didn't break off your rotation of the world, but we moved you in from north and south. You're squished. You're no longer all the way to, you're apparently, if that's the way it happens, this is the way the Canadian football would be if you want, and that's the NFL, short version. So they moved you in from the poles. So now we have the same world, CFL on the outside, Canada, etc., and then we got the NFL squeezed in between. I can turn them and put them playing east-west running around. So the poles are on the outside. So now what would be the quest on that? When you can't go north and you can't go south because maybe it doesn't exist. So now you're running, Canada's running north-south, and the other football is east-west because there's a pole in the middle of the field. Or can those poles on each side say, this is the side you live on. It's 110. How do we know what the totality is? Well, it's got to be 220. 110 for you, 110 for me. I hook up my post over here. You hook up your post over here. He hooks it up there, and you play around the U. I only say that because in soccer, they put the net in that place. 6-foot guy, 12-foot net, 20-foot net. Ball's this big. You ever see the ball? It's got Christ all over it. So now, if you kick the kickoff, and it goes out of the end zone, out of the playing field before it reaches the end zone, right? Because you kick a ball into your own house, I mean, you don't lose it. But if you lose a ball, what is a ball? A ball is all. It's a spirit. Can't kick it out to one side or the other side. You kick it to your side, it's not fair. You kick it to the other side, you lose the ball. So they tack on a 15-yard penalty to you, but they give it to the other team. So instead of at the 20, which is actually the 26, 2 and 6 is 8, they take the ball and they put it on the 35. 3 and 5 is 8. 2 and 6, 3 and 5. There are no others. 1 and 7 is the gateway. 1 times 7. So it's a 20-yard line, becomes 26 because of the 0. Now it's on the 35. 88, perfect. 88 on one side of the field, 88 on the other side of the field. 176. Why not 1776? Since 1 means nothing and you need 6 to become 7. And I can say that if I want. What happens is what you need is 1 from the heart with 7 the gateway to 6. One world, when you show 7 and 7, you're showing the gateway 8. 1 above, 1 below. You need the 1 below. You got to go from the 1 above to the 1 below. There's a pipe. You jump in here and it comes out here. 2 gateways. The whole thing is you jump in the pipe there, it goes back up there. But if it comes down here and goes down here, it comes down from this side. It has to go through this side and it comes back to this side and you come up in number 9. The guy in number 3, he goes into number 7. The guy in number 7 goes into number 3. Then they move into number 6 or they split between 4 and 6. It goes like this. This guy goes into 4. It goes like this. This guy goes into 6. But if he takes both routes down, okay, he goes into the lower level. How that works out, I'm not sure. But now that you got them working on the 35-yard line, all they got is 15 yards, and they're at midfield. Now, in NFL football, midfield is 50 equals 56, and that's F. That's 9-11. F. 5 and 6 is 30. F. 6 and 5. 1, 2, 1, 2 is the 5. You do know that. See this? See this? This is at the trains. This is the trains, right? The trains. But if I do this, this is 9-11. Because this is the corner. Look, this is the corner. And this side is 9, this side is 11. I'm 10. I can go 11-11, one on each corner. I can go 9-11, one on that corner, one on that corner. I go 11-11. I got a guy on 2 corners. 11-11. Why? Because you can't have a guy on 3 corners. If you're standing on 1 corner and you have a guy on this corner to you and this corner to you, you've got the telephone, right? But if there's no guy in the center telephone, nothing's going anywhere. Free parking. So I'm on this side over here. And I go to the right and I go, what's up? It's jail. Go to jail. So I can only go to the left from go 10. And that's visiting jail. So I'm either in jail, visiting jail, and somehow I might get to New York and Kentucky, but I'm not sure. But it's okay in jail because they have Marvin Gardens next to the Pacific. And I'm quite sure that'll be a hot one. So now we have 20 yards, 15, we have 20 yards, 15 yards, and 15 yards. So if I get 20, okay, then 15, so I get my life 20, 26, gives me the cube, okay, because the size of the cube is 26 pieces. Then I get the next 15 yards, I get A and E, I play between 4-3-2 and 4-3-2, 4-3-2 and 4-3-2 with 5s. I get 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5, 4, 3, 2. Why? Because in the 10 yards, okay, the first one to get to the first yard, okay, it means I'm still actually on the outside of the first yard. I'm not on the inside because you always start behind the ball. That ball is always put 1 foot back because it's not in the middle of what's on their side, and you can't touch the other team because that is the 1 area. You can't get the 1 because there's 2. You get 2 dice, you get 2 cubes, and you got to move back 2 yards. Okay, where the ball is and where your whole team stands and everything, it's basically 2 yards. Is it 2 yards? Is it 1 yard for you, 1 yard for them? Or well, I'm not exactly sure how to express it, but it doesn't matter. Once you move back a piece, you're standing in the middle of the area space. Once they move back a piece, it's now 2 pieces moved back. Why? Because here's the center. I move, there I go. That's all I have to move when I move back to the center of these areas. So now you're going 10 yards. So you get a yard if you move the first yard. Now you have 4 yards to go. You have taken away 1 yard away from 10. So first you had 5. Now you have 4, but you don't get to keep 1. You no longer need it. You have it. It's gone. It's gone. So now the other team goes, now if we move both teams together, they get 20-20, 15-15, 15-15. So let's do this. 40-30-30. 100. 3-4-3, but 40-30-30 would actually be, 20 would be 26. 20 would be 26. And then 20 would be 26. And then you have 15, 15, 15, 15. Okay? This is red. This is red. 15 yards added on. What do you want to call that? A foul? A penalty? And you can also call it a foul. As in a foul balls and a foul in soccer is a penalty in hockey. So you now have soccer and hockey, which understand all these numbers over here. This number over here is a 15-yarder, so we're only going to mark 15. This here is a 15-yarder. This here is a 20, 20, 20. This is a 15. This brings it to the 35. This is a 15 over here. That brings it to the 35. Then there's a 15 here and a 15 here. So the total is 26, 36, 46, 56, 56, and then center field, which is 50, that's 56. 56, 56, 56, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 11, 11, 11. That's the field. That's the field that they go 168 yards. 6 times 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 4 is 24, and 4 is 288. 288. 6 times 28. Okay, the moon cycle. This is area space. This is what you get by 6 times 8. 6 plus 8 is 14 and 14. 14 and 48 equals 62. Equals 62. Now 6 by 48, okay, equals to this, and 6 by this equals to 120 and 48, 168. 7 by 24 equals 168. How many days in a week? 7. How many days for God? 6. He's on the moon. He gets the same information as what they get from the 50-50 yard line. From this, you get 8, 8, 6, 6, 6, 6. 8, 6, 6, 8, 6, 6, or 6, 8, 6. It doesn't really matter which way you put it. 6 times 6 is 36 times 8. 48 times 6. 48 times 6 equals 288. Times 555. 5 times 5 times 5. 6 times 6 times 6 equals to 36. And 18 equals to 54. Sorry, it's very small. 6 times 6 times 6 equals to 54. Sorry, 6 times 6 times 6 equals to 216. Sorry about that. Plus 6, 6, and 6 is 18, is equal to 234. Okay, whoops, sorry. 234. I'm just going to add on 180 to this. Do you understand? The sun and 180 degrees, 234, which is inside 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Now 5, 5, 5, 5 equals 125. 125 plus 15 equals to 140 equals 146. The Spirit in Zion, Israel, 4 and 6. Halfway between every way on 4. 288, okay, times 1.25 equals to a total of 360 degrees. 360 becomes 366. Okay. So now we have to go, and we got this, 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 we got this. Now we have to take averages. 56 and half goes here, is 84. Okay. 56 and half goes here, is 84 and 84. Neptune, Mars. The spirit of man is in Mars and Neptune. The spirit of man is in Mars and Neptune. This equals to 168. How do I do it? I need to split the center. I need to split what they share evenly between them. At the same time, there's another figure over here, 168. Since it's because it's one team, multiply it by 2. Reflection. 2 times 8 is 16. 1. 2 times 6 is 12 and 1, 3. 336, 12 moons, creation of 666, and creation of the center cut. 33, new word, center cut. Why center cut? Because when they play blackjack, look, you're made a center cut. I was listening to some casino terms yesterday, and some of these terms popped up. How much is this over here? 4 times 84. So when you get 4 corners of Pluto and Pluto in Mars and Neptune, this is what you get. This is your scenario. That is the NFL field. See, now if it was in the CFL field, right, although the numbers would all almost be the same, this number would change right away because it's now 55. See, a CFL field would be 20, 15, 15, and this here would be 10, and then it'd be 15, 15, and then 20. Here's your 10. There's your 10 laws that you share. Here's your field over here. 50 becomes 56. Plus 6 equals 62. The same thing over here, 62. First we get 20 becomes 26. Then we get 15 equals to 41. Then equals 15 equals to 56. But we do have to understand this is a new figure I just popped up with. I didn't think of it on this side, but it doesn't matter. It's AD. This is when 1 plays in 4 and becomes 5. This is your DNA. This is your 69 rotation. This is your 63. Why? 6 and 4. And 6 and 3 is creation of 6. 6 and 4 is your 10 world split. 9 and 6 are your 10-10. 9 and 4 is also 13. 9 goes here for 10. 9 goes here for 13. 6 goes here for 10. 6 goes here for 7. When 9 goes here, 6 goes here, your rotation. You see, the thing with 9 is, okay, and with 6 is, you now can connect the two sides. So you bring something in between, a foam, and you fill it in with the foam. You fill it in with the foam, and eventually, after you fill it in, okay, with the foam, you now have the percentage of what now looks like F because of the crossing line of F between the two digitals. Two digital decided lines, right? All the wiring, the wheels, the wiring. How about something more like the fleur-de-lis? The casing around the fleur-de-lis of the two C's, right? Right? The two C's that now come between them and the fleur-de-lis. And then the tails at the bottom. So we come over here again. So we now have 62 and 62. If we finite 20 is 26 plus the 50. Over here, 15 and 15 ends up to go to 60. This number 41 is everything. I don't remember where I got the original, but this 41 in Monopoly brings you to the Mediterranean. The only time you can get there, the first time you get there is after 41. Why? Because the totality of the board is 40 in Monopoly. You start on go. If you come back to go, you have passed over, but you had no chance to get the Mediterranean because you have 2 cubes. Okay? Here's where the thing sets up. This is the 10-yard line over here that owns from this side and this side. So even though it shows the 50, if you ever see the medallion on the field does this, it seems like nobody really owns the 50-yard line. So now this side of Canadian football, where was 55, which is the 7th gate, 76, 7 times 6, 7 plus 6. 6 is from the 15 ball if you want and pull. It's burgundy. It's the highest you can go. And there's a couple of stories that go with that. 13, if you add these up 13, this becomes the sun. This becomes 13. This becomes 55. The 5 ball is the sun. The 13 ball is the sun. 42 is the cat. 2 and 4. 4 becomes your purple ball. So now I'm starting to connect too many things with these numbers now, and I'm not in for that right now. So now you have 10. Automatically yards becomes 16. So this medallion becomes the light. We stopped at 50. We got 6 to 56. We got 6 to 62. Now we can take 10 and we got 72 and we got the time clock. 72, 72, 144 in the center of the football field. But we're not finished yet because I took 62 to 72. I have to add 6 more. We now build 78. 7 and 8 is G and H, but it's G, H, I because the same letter for H is in I. Now, if you want to see something about that, it's this over here. Which one do I want to go to? Here's your H. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 by 2. Here's your I. It's in the middle of the 2 to the left and the 2 to the right where there's a top here and there's no top here. Here is your Z letter. 1 Z is your 26. Your 26 letter is the Z. But at the same time, if you want to look at something, this is 62 because it's a Z is 26. Here's looking at you in the mirror, my friend, from 62 to 26. So therefore, the crossing goes Aleph. So we're looking from the other side because the Aleph is showing its way this way with 159. This is not the way of the Aleph. This is the Aleph turned around. Okay, this is the Aleph turned around. So instead of being A this way, it's now A this way. This one over here is I, and this one over here is the H. But we have to know that the H can't go out all the way, okay, and reach because of that thing, the separation in the center. Here's the short lines, and here you can see. Can I did I do that right? Yeah, here you can see your 1.5 lines here, and then your 1.5 lines here. Look how short these lines are. So when I take these lines, if you want to work from the old Greek style, and you want to do this, okay, you see the diamonds that are cut out that are perfect, but no, it's an X with his legs spread, covering the book on one side. There's many ways to look at this. There's a diamond over here. But if I make it straight down, okay, this becomes the short arm for the E and the E that are facing each other, which if you put the E and E back to each other, you actually get the I. You turn the E and E upside down from each other, I mean on the outside of each other, you get the H, right? But take a good look at the H with its arms and the I. It's actually the nun. The nun. Have you ever seen the nun? Here's the nun in Hebrew. Here's one nun. Here's two nuns. Here's three nuns. Now look at all these nuns. Nuns, right? Nuns are nines. Nuns are nines. I'm trying to figure out which way this goes. Nuns are nines. So this is what it actually does. Yod, 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 yod. Pay, 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 pay. None to the left, none to the right, none to the left, none to the right. And this is what you end up with. Just to show you what you can do with letters. Here's the letter, what you can do with letters. All right. See the way it's curling in here, the way it curls in? Okay. I'm not sure if you can see what I see. You can see the T. I'm not really sure what I'm getting out of this right now. But let's go back to the football field. So the football field meets at 144, but now we add the light in. Now it's one light for both teams is the question. Or is it one light that we share between the teams? So I would bring this 62 and make it 70. And I would make this 62, this 16 to 678, and I would make it 70. Okay, this would now be 76. Now, why did I do that? Because you have to share the light. It's 16 hours for the day of the light, and that's the football. The light is the football. It's the eye. You share this light, 8 and 8. So instead of you having the gateway, blocked who has the ball, 78 versus 62, you each have a chance when the ball is in play for the light. Although they have the gate, they get the 78, you get the 76. You want to, and either it's that or it's reverse. You have the ball, the other team has the ball, you get the 70, which means 76. You have the 70, that's your letter R because you share the light, the center of the field that brings you to 78 and 78 if you want to go maximum. This reflection will take you to 288, by the way. 288, 6 by 48, 3 times 16, where the light to the light to the light, 2 end zones. Okay, this becomes 78 and 78, 156. Now your 156 all comes in where you have the spirit in F, 6 and 6, equality. 6 times 6 is 36, creation. 6 and 6 is 12. 6 times 6, you want to find the 48, equals to 36. 6 plus 6 equals to 12, equals to your 48, which will now equal to your 32, and 12 will equal to the end of time that we're in right now. This will create your P and H will equal to your 24, and the flight of the Phoenix is off for understanding how the light is. Now, in this game, okay, back to the CFL, and sorry for taking it so long, where I got to the 50-yard line, I have to do the same thing with the medallion. Now, is there a medallion as big as any other field? It doesn't matter whether I saw it because I'm now going to create one because it has to exist. I did forget to show you this. This is ZZ, H and I. No, this is ZZ. See the orange? Take it away. This is Z, Z, and H. Excuse me, it's Z, Z, and I. Here's the crossing arms. Once you put the H out both sides, okay, you have H, I, Z, Z. 26 and 26 is 52, and H and I is 17, is 69. Right here. Since you need two of them, you get 138. And you need, anyways, okay. I'm off of that. Back onto this. This field needs a medallion, right? Needs a medallion. So we give it a medallion instead of this field going to 50 yards now. Both teams are reverted back 5 yards. Fox. 6 plus 15 plus 24. 15 and 6 is 21, the cube. 15 and 24 is 39, exo. 15th letter and 24th letter. Exo, rusted exo. Rusty old fox. Why? Because number 39 creates ST, it's O and X, and it's RU. But these letters over here are 1, O, and 15, and X, OX, right here, OX. So that's what it is. 24 and 6 is 30 creation, creates 36. Okay, so now we have all the combinations. This is the birth of the sun. So now they're at the 45-yard line, and there's 10, plus there's 6 to make 16 for their light to the football. Now this is going to start to get complicated. First I was at the 50. Now I have to take away 5 yards from each of them. In actuality, I would have to take away 10 yards from each of them because the ball is 10 in its own. Right? The ball is 10 in its own. Now I'm only sharing 5 and 5 yards. We're overlapping 5 and 5 in this one. We did it in the other one. We only overlapped 5 and 5. There was a total of 10. 5 on each side, but we didn't use. But here, both 5s are at the 50. I need to remove 10 and 10. Bringing me down to the 40. Because in NFL football and CFL football, although I had the 10 over here, right, in between, I had these teams up to the 50-yard line. I didn't have them to the 55-yard line, and I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. I'll have to go over this or get out a new video. So now if I really bring this team up to the 55, let me go over it quick. I bring up this team to the 55, okay? Then I have 55, and then I have 16 for the light. Is 71 creates the gateway because I don't need the medallion. I'm using the football to overlay the whole thing and just say 16. 55 plus the football 10 is actually equals 16. So 55 is 65, same as the other field, plus the 6. 55, 65, and 6 is 71. The gateway is 71 and 71, 142, the bad cat. Now, either A, I bamboozled you, and there's tons of mistake in here, and I'm wrong, but the numbers will always, always, always work. I just need to write them down straight and show each one, each combination. As long as we get each combination, if I tell you a good story, it will make sense. The numbers are true. The numbers to 72 times 5 around the clock is true. So now what I had to do is I'm going to put this back. Now that I had the 55 yards, and the 16 for the ball is 71, and 6 for the 20 is 77. I now have the Christ. I did go up to the 50 because it's 15 and 15. No, it's 15 and now 20. 20, 15, 20, which would become 868, 868. It would be 20, 15, 20. It would be 262, 262. But because these are 20s, I make them 26, which is 52, plus the 15 that is in between is 62, is 67. Man in His World, Expo 67, 134, ACDC. 167 plus 16, the ball is 77, is 83 to church, and 83 and 83 is 166, 616. And now you have the full field. 26 and 26 is 52, and 15, 62, 67. But because we're reaching, okay, we're reaching the end, we're not reaching the 50, I no longer have to keep that anymore. 20, 35, 45, 55, and 12 is 67. plus the 16 here is 77 and 83. We do the same thing over here. We now put the ball, we go to 40. So, oh my God, we go to 40. We play tennis. You get 15, I get 15. You get 15, I get 15. We have the ball valued at 10, right? We're starting at the 40, so we can actually go further than the 40 because of the ball. And then we do score with the ball. We get the last 20 points. Add 1, add 2. Well, you're adding 1 because you're adding the ball 10, then you're adding another ball 10. Okay, but every time you take away yards from the other team, you take away 10 plus the value of the ball, but the ball doesn't count for anything unless you gather the point. Your ball is not going to make the point, but the area space you use of the area the ball is in. So instead of giving you 16 from 10, you now get 15. 9 and 6 makes your 15. There's no way to make 15 unless you get 9 and 6. Okay, the dice cube with the numbers, the die cube. A die cube, okay, take away 6 of who you are is 15. A die cube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals to 15. Count 1 to 5, it equals to 15, right? And 2, 3, 4 live in between. 1 and 5 equals 6. So now over here, so you had your total where it was 15. 15 is 30. Now you have 50. Okay, 50. 50 becomes 56. 56 plus you have the ball now, which is 10, becomes 16, 56, 66, 72, you're on the clock. But now you have to move back 10 yards because of it, or it just stays that way. It just stays that way at 72. To end that equation, that becomes your clock. So both scenarios got your clock. 72 on each side is now 144, 12 by 12. But now you have to make up these yards again. But before I make up the yards, again, like I did when this team has the football, I'm going to split it up as 8. So when you get back your 72, okay, excuse me, when you're back at your 50, then you get your 56. Then you take your 16 as 72, or you just take the 8. You have the day or the night. You're with the ball or against the ball. Okay, so you have your 56 plus your 8 is 64, Zion Israel. The other team has the ball. 1 means it can't be transferred onto the other team. Otherwise, it would say 2. If all the mirrored areas would have it, it would say 4. If it's in the mirrored areas of the sunlight, okay, of where it's divided, where the light is divided, it would say 5. If it was on the right side, it would say 6. If it was in the gateway in the end zone, it would say 7. I mean, through the pipes, it would say 6 and 1, 7. They go together. Boom, boom. You get 6-point touchdown. You get a choice of 1 and 2 points. Okay? For the 5, you get 2 for 7. For the 1, you get 6 for 7. So you get the 2 pipes. So now you have 64 for one team. The other team has the ball. They have 72. 72, 64. 72 and 64 is 136. 72 and 64 equals 136. Moses and the 6, 1, and 3. 136, 6, 1, and 3 for the touchdown. Now, how can I get this to equal 286? And this one, 72 becomes 96, and 64 becomes, well, actually, this becomes 94, and this one becomes 86. There's more scenarios to this, and the scenarios for this is because we left out one part. See, we got the ball, we got the light, we're running down the field, but we need the audience. We need the perimeter. We need the field. We need the lines. Count the field for 4 and 4. So I can move my numbers around, but now I'm broadening myself and I'm thinning myself out. I'm making myself look weak because the reality is so broad. I can throw a bunch of sand onto the floor right now with magnets, and you'll say, wow, it looks like something. And thousands of people are there going, does it look like anything? And everybody's going to go either A, yeah, this is what I saw, or B, yeah, it looks like something, or I don't know. So then my whole reality of what I brought out here is like me pouring the water and you take a shower, okay? How was the water? What did it look like, the water? Oh, it was nice water. Was it hot water? No, water was just water, but I put some element on it and I made it hot. Actually, I was in the bathroom and it was just a hot situation. It cooled me down. So we started out with a video that I wasn't sure what to say, and there's just so much reality out there. For me, there's so much untouched reality out there that we don't notice because we have no interest. We have no interest even when somebody mentions it to us. It seems like, oh, you know, the last night my mother went out to the bar. You know who she met? Who'd she meet? She met Tom, Dick, and Harry. Oh, yeah? She mustn't have come home till the morning. She must have really liked Tom and Dick, right? Tom Turkey, that means 3. I'm not too sure what the Dick means. I think it means AC/DC. You ever see this, okay, is Dick, okay? See the difference between this and this? What does this mean? And what does this mean? And what does this mean? I got the uprights, but in this one, I'm painting the color in between. And how do I feel this? When the ball goes in between here, the uprights come halfway in to the post from the bottom, and they take the energy out, just like holding up the net in tennis. Raphael, on how football is scored yard by yard, forgetting about the points, because if each team scored one of each point in the game, what would the score be? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The score would be 1 and 6 is how much? 7. And 3 is 10. 10 becomes 16. So they each are the holder of the light. 6, 1, 6. But in NFL football, you only can get the point by getting a touchdown first. You now have 7 and 3, which the only way to get that 7 and 3 is if to get the 1 point and not the 2-point play, which can also be made by losing the ball. In both situations, scoring or losing the 2 points will kick back the ball to the other team either by a punt, P giving the light to the other team, or a kickoff, KO, 15 and 11, 26, giving the card, giving the game, giving the Z, from 1 over to 62 the other over. So the 2-point play can be different. It can end the game. So you now have 7 points, and 3 points is actually 10, making you 16. But when you get the 2 points on the ground, when you get the 2 points falling in the end zone, okay, the actual thing that actually happens is you now have a 6-pointer with a 1-pointer and a 3-pointer, creating 7 and 3. Nibiru comes within the light. 7 and 3, 10, plus the 2 points is 12. So you now have 12, 12, half a clock each. Wait a second. The game can't end in a tie, so you can get 14 to 12, and that would create the avenue of the nav falling into your own end zone, ending the game that way. But if you get your 2 points by scoring a touchdown of 6, 2 and 6, ZZ, Venus World, 2, 6, 20. Life of Man, 2, 6, 2, 8. 8 is the heaven within 6 resides. Because he loses one side. I mean, if you're always going this way, what's behind you is gone. You're walking into it. So what happens now is you need to get 1 and 6 and 2 and 6. 1 and 6 and 2 and 6. So now you have 1 and 2 becomes 3 and 6. You need it because one has to play between 2. So now you have 1, 6, 2, 6. You have 12 plus 3. You have 15 plus the field goal. You have 18 plus the sack in the end zone. You have 20. All of a sudden, 20 becomes 26. You're 26. They're 26. 26, 26. 6, 22, 6. That's the end score. 26, 26, 52. But now it's a tie. And the game can't end in a tie. Well, at least not for the last 15 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals to 15. Because you're in the cell. 2, 3, 4, born to be created. Delta angels of one angle, one side of the head, one side of the mind. So you get sacked in the end zone. And the game's over 28-26. Man on the moon meets the dog with the bone. 82-28, 110. 62-26, 88. Eye of the Arches. 88-110, 198. High. 198. 1 and 9 equals to the 10. 1 and the 8 equals to the 99. You got angel resident from Pluto, living with a Jupiter mind, and we are universal soldiers, my friends. Born to carry a body on in a life that we should live with love and peace. We're soldiers because we have to look out for the spirit within us. Watch that it does not meet that level of intoxicity, 0.08. 8 and 9. 2 and 1. 9 take away 2. 9 plus 2 equals 7. 9, 11 brings you to the 7th gate. 1 take away 9 equals 8. You're in the heaven. 1 and 9 equals to the spirit. 1 and 8 is 666, the angel resident. The AC energy, 1 times 3, 1 plus 3 equals 3 and 4. 3 times 4, 3 plus 4, 4 plus 3 is 7 and 12 equals to 19. We have 8 minus 1, 9 minus 2, 21U, 12, 21, 9, 11. Why again? 9 take away 1 is 8. 8 take away 2 is 6. 8 and 6 is 14. 8 plus 2, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10. 8 plus 5, Silver Surfer in the center world. 9 plus 5 equals 14. It is the ring. 9 and 8 is 13, is the AC energy, and 9 with the 5 would be 14. AD. Now, how does AD work? It becomes the sun. It becomes the IT sun. I don't know exactly how it works, and that really bugs me. I'd have to think about it. So when we have the 13 world, 8 and 5, 13, AC energy, and 9 and 4, we now have 5 and 4, the sun. Now 5 and 4 can be recreated. 4 and 3, 5 and 2, 4 and 3, 4 and 3, 5 and 2. Okay, 5 and 2. I'll go over this again because I'm a little lost in my head. When I bring 5 and 4 to 89, okay, it creates the sun. It creates the sun fox. It creates the sun fox, the hole, like putting the pen in the middle of this. 5 and 4. But now, to recreate that in 77, I need now 2 and 3. 2 and 3 is B creation. It's the CB codes of 10, which brings the light. $288 times, what is it? 288 by, what is it? 288 by 60?